Well, see where we're at. I got the RC fuse here. It's sort of like a stick. I got this waxed up. 306B RAM, Lily RAM stuff. Looks good. I got the polycarbonate waxed up. Got my parting board ready to go. So basically the polycarbonate's going around the edge of this board, or the parting board, and it's going to create a flange, vertical flange, so the mold will go over the plug, down on the parting board, up the flange. So I'm thinking a little bit of flange out here will help stiffen it, stabilize it, and it'll also sit flat on the bench when I lay it up. So my thinking is this masking tape is going to support this fuselage plug on the parting board until I can get underneath it and put some structure underneath it. So what I've done here, and you probably saw this in a video clip earlier, I've put in cross member so I can actually take balsa wood strips and glue them up against these. So the first thing I did is I established where the center line of the plug was with some masking tape here, and so I suspended this in the board to where it comes up to that tape, and these pieces of tape are just sitting here holding the plug, suspending it. And then back here at the tail, it's not too hard to find the center line because it's also narrow back here, and it doesn't have to be perfect as long as the draft angle's there. And sometimes when you do these fuselages, you know, you can fudge just a little bit because there's a little flex. So yeah, sometimes you got to get the heavy-duty balsa stripper out. This is probably 3/8. So these are the sticks that are going to go underneath the plug to support it in the parting board box. It's RC wood. It's probably, oh, I don't know, 9 to 10 pound. So it works out good for this. It's soft enough to carve if you have to fit it, and it's hard enough to support the plug. Alright, the way I'm looking at this plug, basically if the back is centered and the front centered, everything else should fall in place in between the two. You're not going to flex the plug. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back here at the back. I'm going to get this thing, so we're not talking structure here, we're just talking tacking these parts in. So I'm going to put a little CA right here, a little down here. Don't worry about getting messy, it doesn't matter. Okay, so what that's going to allow me to do is shim it. So I'm going to come in here with another piece. So I double check the other side to make sure it's where I want it. It's on the center line. So I'm going to take this little wedge I just cut and glue that wedge in there. To trim it off a little bit. So I could see by going around the other side, this wedge pushed it out. So I got to make sure this wedge is where it needs to be. So right now it's a little fat. Trim it down a little bit. It looks good. I'll stay away from the kicker on this one. Now this plug's got wax on it, so technically, I mean, if something happened, I mean, it should be all right. So once I get a couple points here, I call them hard points or whatever, that'll allow me to go in there and put a little bit more structure behind this. This piece will go up here. Then again, this isn't touching the fuselage, I still have to shim it. And we're just talking tack, you know, I'm not talking about huge amounts of glue here. And of course, try not to get any on your plug, but and now I'm going to do another wedge. Now another trick you can do, you can go ahead and Bondo all that if you want it more permanent. You can go in there and do the old Bondo trick, and then basically you're building up a surface in there to support the bottom of your plug. So when I push on this plug, push it this way, it's bottoming out. But if I push it the other way, it's not stuck, so that's what I want. And let's say that it's a little proud or whatever, you can go in here take this plug out, and you can actually sand these shims a little bit so it sits a little deeper if need be. Well, let's see what we got. We got some tape up here, just sort of holding this in place so when I tip it over it doesn't fall out. So this is the amount of structure we have back here. So I just add little wood strips as need be to make sure there's, it's bottomed out, so it's supported. So that way when you clay it up, it'll lock it in place. And then of course, once you get to the point where you put parts, 90 parts by weight, 92.34, so 100 grams. We're going to go with 20 grams of curing agent. So there's my 20 grams. Try to keep it simple. So we're at 21 grams, so you got a choice right here. And if you want to keep it exact, what I like to do before you mix it, before it's mixed together, you can pour off the top a gram. A gram isn't very much. It's probably within the tolerance Took out a little bit too much. Couple more drips. I'll stick with what the spec sheet says at 20%. So this stuff is so thick that it's probably going to be one of these things where I got to double cup it. So I'm going to mix it up in one, pour it into another, and keep mixing. And this is a high temp surface coat. So it's a Boeing spec. It's the way this is spec'd out. You look at the spec sheet, and it's an old Boeing formula. For what that's worth. Graphite filled. I really don't think this is machinable. I think it's going to be a tougher surface coat, more abrasion resistant. But I don't think it's going to polish up like the 302. We'll find out. I really probably should have used a smaller mold to experiment on, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Hey, if it's good enough for the Boeing spec, it's good enough for this little stick fuse mold. Tell by stirring it, it's got a graininess to it maybe. Be interesting to see what the filler is. Graphite obviously, but be interesting to see how coarse it was before it went into the mix. Another thing is when you're actually stirring this in the can before you put the curing agent, it's sort of got a stringiness to it. Okay, let's get it in the second cup. About as good as it's going to get. Try to clean up as I go. So I should have a little bit more working time to get this in there. So we'll see. Now, just like any other surface coat, I always try to pay attention to the corners here. Try to get in that 90°. Usually that's where the voids end up. So it looks to me, so far, that this surface coat is going to lay flatter. It has quite a bit of clingability, it looks like, but it doesn't look like it's going to be quite as thick as a 302, which is good. So I'm going to fill in all the sharp voids, the 90s, while it's still relatively thin. Might be able to get most of this mold off of this. It's not going on too thick. One of the advantages of the 302, as thick as it goes in, you don't have to worry about really a lot of print through. So I got the second layer of glass in here. So I put a little DTO 81. I had a little sharp bends around there. Use that as a little bit of filler. Same with up here on the nose. That just helped the compaction, you know, and help that glass conform to the plug. So that's the first layer of the fiberglass sequence. The next step is the tooling dough. And then we're going to repeat the fiberglass that we've got here on the outside of the tooling dough, so it's a balanced layup. Alright, we got 20 ounces. We need 25% per hundredweight.